Chairman Tester, thank you. As you may have said before I walked in the door, we're considering 4 nominations today and 6 pieces of legislation. I support the nominees and 5 of our 6 bills and am pleased to vote those out of committee. The Cost of War Act is trying to deliver on a promise this country made. And Mr. Chairman, I agree with a sentiment that you expressed, which is the decision to spend money, provide resources and assistance to our veterans is made the day we ask them to go into battle. Our job is to figure out how to meet their needs. Our job is to figure out how to do that in a way that makes sense, that doesn't damage other veterans and their interests, and that makes certain that our dollars are spent effectively and efficiently. If you serve in the military and you are injured or made ill because of that service, you shouldn't go without health care for those conditions, and you should be compensated for loss of income due to those injuries or illness. Unfortunately, the current process is not fulfilling the promise that we made to veterans who are sick due to toxic exposure. I am committed to fixing this process so that veterans can get the care and benefits they need, they have earned, and it's why I will vote to advance the Cost of War Act today. But this bill, in my view, still needs a lot of work. Crucially, we do not know the cost or impact of the legislation and how it will impact or affect the operations of the Department of Veterans Affairs. We do not know, for example, what this legislation means to the backlog of over 300,000 claims. It would have been my preference for this committee to resolve those issues before voting on whether or not it is ready for debate on the Senate floor. This committee has been, for a long time, for as long as I've been involved in it, an example of how both sides can set aside their differences and work together to pass legislation with the goal of supporting our nation's veterans. I talk at home to my constituents, and it is the place that I would tell them is the last, perhaps, bastion of bipartisanship, and I want to keep it that way. It is certainly my desire today to see that cooperation between the majority and the minority continue. Chairman Tester committed to address the outstanding concerns that committee members have before any consideration of this bill by the full Senate. So today, despite the vote, there is still much work to be done, much work for us to complete as a committee before we truly have a solution that provides the help our veterans are entitled to and need. We must get formal views from the administration and the detailed cost estimates from the CBO and the OMB. I'd feel much more comfortable if the Department of Veterans Affairs prior to today's markup had provided those views. They have declined to do so, and perhaps this effort on our part today will cause them to respond appropriately. We need to understand what actions VA has the authority to do now, and this legislation, how it would affect veterans currently receiving care and benefits. My goal is to make certain that in directing the VA to provide care for additional veterans, we do not diminish their ability to care for all veterans. Again, I will support this legislation today with the commitment that we will work together, work in the best interest of veterans to get this legislation right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.